Final cut is a tricky term since these days it is so easy to keep tweaking your edit. But at some point, you gotta call it good. You might also think your film is perfect. It's your final cut. It represents your vision, your stamp. But is it the best film it can be? This is a stage that requires a fine balance between the conviction of your vision and an openness to hear and evaluate feedback and critique. If you're new here, my name is Jakob Pander. On this channel, I share over 2 decades of narrative and documentary filmmaking skills and insights. If you want to catch more videos dedicated to creator empowerment and independent filmmaking, this is the place. Now, let's dig into it. At this point, you've finished your rough cut and created the big story arc of your movie. You have a beginning, a middle, and an end. All of your main scenes are in place, and you've begun bringing in B-roll and even some music to bring out the emotion and tone of your movie. This version is likely a bit long, so the next step is to tighten everything up and create your fine cut. For me, the fine cut is taking your edit to the tightest and best place that you have in you. It's where you get granular, finessing individual scenes and transitions. Here you polish every last rough spot until there is nothing that will pull your audience out of the cinematic experience that you've created. You might call this your director's cut, but is it truly ready for the world? Once you're satisfied with your fine cut, the next step is to show that cut to a handful of friends and colleagues, people that you trust to give you honest feedback. I also make sure to encourage people to be brutally honest with me. I want them to feel that they are totally free to tell me anything. I always want to know the hard truths, especially after investing so much time, energy, and passion into my project. Okay. Now that you have that feedback and you've shaken off any of the hurt, does any of it ring true to you? Does it affirm areas that you feel in your gut need work, or even cut out altogether, but haven't really been ready to let go of yet? Does it give you insight into blind spots that you never saw? Things like clarity issues for the audience. As you answer each of these questions for yourself, the next cut gets you closer to your actual final cut. Now that your close group has given you their feedback, and you've implemented the ideas you feel help your film, that might be all you need to finish your edit. However, you can take feedback research one step further. To get as close to an unbiased reaction to your movie as you can, set up a small private screening. Here you invite friends of friends and people that you don't know, as well as a variety of ages and walks of life. At this screening, the audience is given a questionnaire asking a variety of questions about your film. For example, would you recommend this movie to your friends? Or how would you describe this movie to your friends? This one in particular is useful because it tells you if your audience is experiencing the same movie that you think you made. Other questions get more detailed, like what scenes did you like most and least? Which character did you like most or least? These all elicit very specific reactions to fundamental areas in your film to help you learn what's working and what might still need work. The questionnaire is most effective when it's anonymous. This encourages people to be frank and, again, brutally honest with you. The value of this type of forum is that it's not from your close network, people that usually know how hard you've worked and might be tempted to actually soften the blow of any harsh criticism. This more neutral audience is not invested in you or the film, and therefore hopefully will respond closer to how the general public might receive your movie. Remember, you can and shouldn't aim to please everybody, but what is always helpful is seeing patterns in the feedback. If you see trends in the feedback, this is where you definitely need to focus your attention and see if these are areas that can or should be addressed. I've done these types of feedback screenings and find them to be really valuable. They not only tell you where things aren't working, but they can also affirm where they are working, which can be a great boost after months, maybe even years of work. It can be the first glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. Now that you're armed with the feedback from your anonymous audience members, you might end up going through one or more rounds of refinement, whatever feels right. And then you ultimately arrive at the cut that you can lock, also known as reaching picture lock. Locking the picture basically means that the creative edit is done. Your cut is set in stone. You can now step back and hand the picture off to a sound designer, colorist, composer, and sound mixer for the end run, the finishing phase. Each of these specialists can confidently move forward with their contributions, knowing that the film's timeline won't change any further, ultimately resulting in the final cut. If you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing. For now, keep on cutting, and I'll see you in the next one.